This person is actually a former diamond rank, currently 400th in the world. Pretty impressive performance. And they seem to have gotten here off the Roman Empire in both forms, because I noticed they've been playing a bunch of HRE, but it seems they also lean into the Byzantines. Their opponent is no pushover, though. This is the one and only Kazva on another OG Civ. I'm starting to wonder if actually Kazva's brought the expansion at the moment, because I don't think I've seen him play any of the new Civs at all. Abbasids instead of Ayyubids is kind of an interesting sight on the pub ladder right now. Byzantines, Abbasids, definitely not a matchup I feel like we see very often. I want to say this favors the Byzantines, right? Because, like, for a start, they can easily block out your early plays by just getting into their mercs quite casually, especially if they get a nice spawn like this. He's got back spawning berries. This is kind of disgusting. So I'm wondering if, like, Abbasid will even be able to touch this, or if it's just going to turn into quite a defensive game quick. There has been an increase in players picking Abbasids and going for a very aggressive stance. The aggressive stance typically involves going for a stables immediately upon tech up, adding in 2 horsemen, and then you basically cover every angle of the triangle. I don't know if Kazva's going to be aware of that build, as I feel like that one's a more recent development with this Civ. Don't bring up the true Roman Empire successor argument. I mean, there is no, like, there's no argument to it. The Byzantines are the true Roman inheritors. Is anyone legit trying to argue this that isn't a German scholar from the 18th century? Yeah, I agree. I've been finding Abbasids quite enjoyable. I think they have this really nice momentum to them right now, and because of the fact they can't just fast castle, they don't focus as much on resounding greed as much as they do on presence, which is really cool to see. Wait, you mean Ayu? No, we don't talk about Ayu. Ayyubid somehow surviving any sort of nerf for this long is shocking to me still to this day. They're well overdue to be just kneecapped. So Grand Winery versus Military Wing, nothing too unorthodox coming out to begin this. Love the fact that we got the early Olive Grove. I hate the positioning. It's a little bit suboptimal. He's actually just making himself less efficient down the line, but typically these opening Olive Grove builds are really nice. They allow you to get a loose assistant level 2 if you need to. They also guarantee that you have enough stone to outpost and arrow slits your defense points, right? So like at this stage, you know, if you're forced to outpost the gold, you're not going to feel completely screwed when it comes to the system timing. You still get level 2 at a competitive point. I believe we are already setting up stone gathering. So Kazva definitely going for that good old-fashioned 2TC build. I imagine it's just 2TC. I don't think you have to go too far here. You're going to have to present arms in the mid-map, right? Because the Byzantines, if you don't go to them, they tend to come to you. Russians who argued they're the Roman successors? I mean, if we're being totally fair here, like, the Byzantines were the successors, because they were the Eastern Roman Empire. Yeah, it was kind of in the name. Like, remember, guys, Byzantines actually isn't, like, a self-proclaimed name, right? It's not like an English person standing up and going, I'm Cthulhu now. We're the Cthulhuites, right? It's more like someone in Germany going, those Brits, they're now called Cthulhuites. It's like, bruh. Especially you can also do TCC if you scout the Rus TC. Wait, we're talking about Rus now? I mean, like, the Rus matchup, by the way, I think the Byzantines can do 2TC. I still think their fast cast was kind of a little bit better. Especially how fast it comes in. I think what players have started to notice is when people do these 2TC builds, if you have an opportunity to rush castle, it's a lot better due to Relic's value. The Relic value exceeds what a TC is capable of at that stage in the game. Even more so with the Byzantines, because like the thing that's kind of wild about the Byzantines is the fact that it goes into olive oil, which is just supremely better than having gold, in my opinion. At the stage in the game when you get the Relics, think about it. You don't necessarily need more gold right then, right now, because you've already kind of spent the opening gold on the veterancies, on the eco upgrades, and on the monks, right? It's like having the ability to just get a resource that is capable in itself of building units, saving you food, wood, gold, whatever it may be, is just a lot better. That's why Grand Winery is just king compared to almost anything, right? Like Regnitz is the only thing that feels better. A little bit of harassment here from Kazva. Unfortunately, not enough to really deter. It looks like is going to get into the Western contract quite comfortably here. And they've already got enough olive oil for the first pump, so They need to make up their mind. Because I actually really like the Horseman detail. Them going Spearman, I kind of like less here. I guess it does give you more torch value, but it's a condensed TC, right? Horseman is pretty cool, but I guess the thought process here is that if it's not going to be a loose TC, then Limitane feels a lot better for diving than Horseman do. I like how everyone has different ideas about what needs to be nerfed for the Byzantines. Legit, what needs to be nerfed for Byzantines is the gathering rate and the farms. That's the big problem. Like, I actually think you could probably make Olive or Given scale based on age within reason, and it wouldn't be too crazy. But bare minimum, what needs to happen is these farms need to cost 75 wood. There's no logical reason why these farms cost 60 wood. They are by far the best farms in the game. Think about what you get at this stage in the game, right? You got a 14% gathering speed buff, but then you also are getting 20% more from this farm as a different resource, but it's even more than that. It's 32% around the Grand Winery. Like, these details stack up to also why Hippodrome rarely will ever seem like a good play. English farms are best thing? Nah, dude. These farms are better. These farms are... You're actually capping if you think that English farms are better than Byzantine farms. It's Byzantine farms and it's not even close. Oh, did I also forget to mention the 8 stone rebate you get for building these farms? So they don't actually cost 60 wood. It's more like 52 resources because you're getting a refund of a resource you do want. You sure harassment coming in? Lombo's a little bit mispositioned here, actually. Looks like he wanted to guard to get the wall up on the south side. We actually have got Kaz with the commitments, Horseman coming through. Makes sense. He just wants to pin the Byzantines now. This is why I really like Abbasid in this matchup. You just scale, 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 and you try to pin your opponent in. The challenge is getting quickly into the Golden Age, which he has done. So he's got that 15% buff. His economy will begin to compete with the Byzantines in the next minute and a half. He just needs to survive the initial pressure. Because remember, the Byzantine economy at the very beginning is absurd because of this olive oil from berries detail with Grand Winery. Like, it's insanely powerful. That's a Martian in a position. Blacksmiths could be a really big deal here. If Like wants to camp and not be movable, actually rushing Steeled Arrow is the play. He's got way too many Limitane right now for what he's up against. He should be investing that resource elsewhere. It looks like it's going to begin with a Kara Siphon. So, interesting that he prioritized the Siege, but didn't prioritize the Steeled Arrow. I feel like that's a little bit of a slip up. 10 longbows at this stage is definitely worth it. You have definitely got enough horsemen to deal, Limitane Rub deal with the horsemen. Maybe even Undermesh would be worth having in a rush here. I also think that it looks like Casva wasn't aware this was coming because he does not have blacksmith decks at all. Fire Siphon should melt this pretty quickly. The fire armor doesn't work, right? No, they did fix that. I think they hot fixed that in the end. Basically, fire armor used to apply to defending against Kara Siphons before. Oh, purple. This is not how you should be defending. Horseman, the freest kill imaginable. Yeah, and now look at the knock-on effect. No undermesh equal no play. Horseman just get peel off. Archers be able to trade out quite well here. Shield wall has been activated, but counter's already diminished, right? I think purple completely misplayed that. Steeled Arrow first, Kara Siphon second. If you're at least going to go Kara Siphon first, make sure you're paying attention to it because he completely ignored it. Now Horseman can just go in, right? Archer count should be good enough to finish with Limitane. Remember, every longbow lost hurts a lot here. This is a limited resource unit you can get your hands on due to the fact it requires olive oil. At this stage in the game, purple doesn't have much of that. Yeah, at this stage, he can just snowball longbows to clear this up. Both archers to clear this up. Both longbow and Limitane. Looks like Casva may be kind of trickling in a bit here, though. Yeah, I think he hung around on the tail end a bit too far there. Remember, this is still a matchup where your opponent has Steeled Arrow and you haven't fixed Blacksmiths yet. That is now on the way, so next fight should be better. Then again, Casva doesn't need a resounding win in these fights. He just needs to not lose because he's scaling an eco lead, right? I think this is where purple's just going to go castle. There's no play now in this age for you, in my opinion. It's too late to really do damage. because your Lombo scaling is too slow. He is at least playing onto the corner berries, right? To try and compete. Purple, please. He actually, yeah, needs to pull it back to the Limitano or he ends up losing. Kazva just trying to yoink away the sheep. Nice sheep. Another kind of cool thing about playing Abbasid in this matchup is you benefit a lot from the berry situation as well. Yeah, never try to trust the sample rates for competitive balance off of pub play. At conk level, like, there's a lot of things going on, right? Like people know, if people know they're never going to get Roost, they rarely pick Roost, for example, right? Like we're always saying how busted Roost is, but I think Roost isn't the top percentage win rate right now. Delhi is another pristine example. Like Delhi doesn't really get picked that much in ladder play by the highest level players, so its win rate isn't indicative of how it truly is. It's been an issue for a while, actually. There is a way on AoE4 World that you can kind of check the win percentages in tournament plays for certain tournaments. Unfortunately, they don't have a compilation feature for all tournaments within a set period, which I think would be a lot better. Golden Horn Town on the way. Kazva is saving up. His tech up is going to be later, but he should have a decent army to upgrade, right? Because I think now, like, stop producing horsemen, produce more lombos. Archers, rather. I keep saying lombos. Yeah, a little bit weird, actually, that he's adding in 5 extra horsemen here. I don't think this is what you want to be investing in when you know a tech up's coming. At least you should suspect a tech up's coming. Coach Wing on the way. He did end up going into Undermesh in the end. I think the thought process here for Kazva is he can maybe punish the tech up a little. Needs to be very careful about it. There is an opportunity here considering that Purple didn't build any outposts and any walls on the forward, even though they're gathering gold there. They are still also gathering berries from outside their base. Rangian immediately queued up there. Purple. He's going to lose one or two EK units here. This is good though. Like right now you're pinning your opponent in his base. That's important because you're going to need time for the veteran season composite bow. Oh, an interesting trickle there from a man who doesn't have undermesh. And he just realized. It's one of those classic moments where you're like, why is my guy dying so fast? He's meant to be tanky. Horseman, I do get a freebie in. Jump on top of the Lombos. Most Limitane are being mopped up there, right? Like, this is actually not too bad of a trade for Kazva. It's mostly the Horsemen being thrown away. The Archers are surviving. I actually think he played that really well. And the important thing is he's continuing to box his opponent in while that tech timer is ticking. Undermesh now complete. This is where we should start to see a whole ground up to about 10 Varangian and then a move out. Relic situation is something that hasn't been considered yet by Purple. They actually haven't got the gold in their build to go into that. So actually there's an opportunity here for Kazva to try and snatch away. It's actually so underrated for Abbasid players to snatch away the relics. Recently, players have started to take note of it though, right? Like more often we're actually seeing moss drops now out of Abbasid players at the start of an age up. That was something that wasn't actually that typical. It was very rarely seen, in fact, just a few months back. Golden Age 2 also coming in at the perfect time. That was nicely lined up. The increased research speed definitely helps with these type of attacks. Boot Camp, Composite Bows, both queued up. Notice he prioritizes that over Preservation of Knowledge. I actually like that a lot here. Your opponent's coming for you, so you need Composite Bows right away. You can't afford to wait. Purple, we've been here before. We're going there again. Another Carrot Siphon. More Horsemen are going to go hunting. It looks like we've actually got a secure spot here. Outpost from both sides to protect. Crossbows now getting queued up as well. I mean, Purple's army is quite frightening right now. Like, Composite Bows detail aside, right? Like, you're up against 32 archers, but you do have 19 longbows yourself. You got 16 Varangian. No level 2 ranged armor is a little bit surprising here. It's a huge DPS increase, or decrease rather. So it's going to be back up for the moment. Karasiphon's now moving in. So 200 the second town center. Mangonel is being built up. Pretty appropriate response here. Crossbow numbers need to reach like close to 10 before you really want to contest this. It's actually kind of fine that he's letting the TC die. Right, the eco lead is big enough to eclipse the Olive Grove plus the gathering rate for the Byzantines. Few of them left over, just going to try to poke this down. There is now also a Springald. Springald's actually clear these up pretty quick due to the fact they have less health than Rams and somehow cost more. Still don't get that. Villagers are being targeted though. That's fun. I mean, 24 eco lead is still substantial, right? Behind this, we aren't getting a 2 TC play out of purple at all. They're just all in on this play. And they still haven't gone for relics whatsoever. Mango. Whoa! Hello, sir. Might want to protect that. Longbows are about to be in range, though, so purple needs to show some respect to this. Instead, he starts to dive in. Varangian looking at the wrong target. They go for the crossbows first, but the Mango completely ignored. Crossbows are front-lining Kasva. Wait, what? Oh, no. Kasva made a blunder here. He didn't move the archers forward and the crossbows back. The crossbows were at the back of the formation, so they go down first. That means there's still too many Varangian left over. Kasva now in trouble. Varangian numbers still double digits. Crossbow count completely non-existent. Archer count down to 10. Kasva, we've got a big missed macro here. Way too much food and wood. Nothing to spend on. In fact, at this stage, surely you just drop a few Raxes and start spamming Gulams to try and recover this. Doesn't feel great because you're up against Varangian, but at the same time, you just need a front line. So Purple's going to back up. Dude, this guy loves his Kyro Siphons. We're going again. Well, actually, the number of units for the Byzantines is a bigger issue, actually. It's one I've highlighted before. It's this. It's Conscriptio. That's why Varangian look broken. Like, if you look at Varangian on paper, they shouldn't be broken. Mathematically, they aren't a broken unit. What makes them broken is the production rates of Byzantines. Think about the Japanese build that once upon a time we thought was OP, the Fast Castle one with Yoroshiro. It felt broken because the production rates allowed you to Zerg an army, which other civs couldn't match. That's Byzantines in a nutshell. Their economy, their production speed. Those two things together in the mid game are way too strong. Strong doesn't quite cut it here. Dominant seems more appropriate right now. 57 military, 34. Kasva is going pretty one-dimensional crossbows. I usually don't like to see this up against mass lombos. You're already counted out, right, to begin with. I mean, you could theoretically just try to bulk archers and maybe Gulams here. Still, the issue at that point is archers needing to reach the lombos. Speaking of which, lombos are hunting. Mango shots coming in on the deer. Lombos are going to have a hard time with this. The double Mango guaranteeing it. The Varangians come around the back, though. Siege not going to last long against this. He knows that Kasva can't keep firing. He actually needs to move them into the safety of the crossbow mass. One goes down. Second one going to be targeted down. Looks like he's going to be able to get it just the next time. Varangian clean up, and the longbows can now finish off. Oh boy. And Kasva, wait, why is he... I am completely confused as to why he's queuing up spears right now. Looks like the lombos did hang around a bit too long there. Kaz, kind of impressed he actually held that. I mean, it's only a handful of comparable archers, right? So, like, realistically, lombos should be winning that fight, but you're seeing the difference here. It's this field arrow +2, right? Kind of a lack of blacksmith upgrades. I'm a bit shocked that the Byzantine player doesn't have more here. Second wave is arriving now, though. This is where Kaz needs to run. Still, not a single relic picked up. I'm starting to think the players maybe forgot about it. Yeah, this is starting to feel like an oversight by both players. Relics would be a big deal here, and especially for like, they've already got the Grand Winery, right? So they don't have to spend 200 wood getting into the building. They only need to spend 150 gold, and they are sitting on surplus resources. Wait, what's happening here? What is this argument turning into? English and Ayyubids are over the top right now. White Tower is basically the issue with English. That's easily solvable. If you fix White Tower, all the issues around English kind of disappear. Byzantines is a little bit more convoluted. Ayyubids have one-dimensional issues where they have an overtuned build, but without it they have nothing. So they're also a more difficult civ to solve. And HRE just need a scaling eco tech, which is a bit tough because the moment you do that, rushing Imp becomes more optimal again. Spears because cavalry would be a logical counter for like. Not really. He's against crossbows. He's always just going to build longbows. Longbows always beat crossbows, right? I don't think there's a world in which the Byzantine player goes cav. Like, in this type of game, you never feel good building horsemen in Castle Age, and Byzantines can't build knights because cataphracts suck. The only reason maybe is he wants spears to defend against a cataphract charging onto the mangoes. That's a possibility. But even then, one or two cataphracts against mass crossbows, they'll just die before they hit the siege. I think it's just because he wants a cheap meat shield. But the problem is you're doing it against longbows, right? So you can't afford a cheap meat shield because they die too fast. Double mango looking for a wallop. Kasva! Purple! Oh! Poor reactions! Frangian now going to move across. Second following up shots to the mango is not good enough here. Enough longbows did survive that, so it looks like Kasva is going to lose the entire army. Oh, good fight. I can't believe he just headbutted a mango shot like that and it's still okay. Karasiphon's also now being prepped by the Byzantines, so looks like we've got another offensive coming in. He knows there's other siege he can build, right? Does crossbow and siege horseman be nice? You'd be surprised what Frankie can do. Also, you'd be surprised how resistant Byzantine... Wait, what the... What?! When did this happen?! Oh my god, dude, Kasva hasn't lost an ounce of it. The fact that this guy can go away from the game for so long and still do this. My draw is constantly in a drop state right now. How did he get 3 castles in behind the enemy lines without any sort of conflict? The Karasiphons don't even count the key. Oh my god. He's also struggling to get new troops out. Like, this is right on top of a lot of his production. Did Kasva just win this game in the most disgusting way possible? If you guys remember, back when Kasva played a lot of AoE4, he built up a bit of a reputation as an outpost rusher. It's not quite an outpost, but I think it still counts. Whose base is this anyway? Crossbows. Oh my god, he cut down on everything. Purple's losing this game. He's actually losing this game. Oh my god. Trev's now covered out. But Springham's already being prepped by Kazva. These are someone that he can just build on the fly, remember. He's playing as the Abbasids. A little bit low on stone, but should be able to keep it up long enough. And thank you very much, Ardent Adam, for the Prime Gaming sub. That just reminded me, after this one, I will fix the notifications. For some reason, you guys, your names are not popping up on screen. What a freaking game. Kazva. If you don't have enough time here, the Trebs, I mean, even if one keep falls, it's still 3 keeps, right? Springham's on now here. And there is no direct counter to them yet. It looks like Purple's trying to prep that, but he's going to be slow on the response. He's going to be outnumbered. Yeah, that's the problem, right? The Siege Workshop is terribly positioned. You need it over near the Conscriptio effect from the system to get your siege out quick enough. What? What? Oh, no. Come on, not like this. Kaz, mistakes made there. The Springle decided to walk into the enemy base unguarded. In an area that he doesn't see. So we're going to try this again. This time he just needs to stay on his side. Close. Reveal. Springle just about stays alive. Double Mango here, which... I mean, the crossbows of support should be impenetrable right now. Kaz is holding on to way too much wood. Oh, keep goes down. Mangoes are going to be in trouble here. Dude, how is Purple not dead? This game is such a goddamn mess. Ooh. Oh, hello. Well, you are now Kazva's best friend. Out of time achieved, Purple. Trying to bulk into Varangian again is kind of interesting here, right? Like, Kazva made this really weird play that worked out fantastically. And now you're crumbling it. You should be able to get ahead again. Instead, he's full on sending it into the worst unit I think you could be building right now, which is Varangian. And you're up against mass crossbows. Like, now's the time to go Limitane or Horseman on this type of timing, sure, because, like, your opponent is one-dimensional, right? I think, like, Horseman isn't even necessary. Limitane should be good enough with Lombos. Second castle down. Kazva now gathering the stone from right outside of Purple's base. What is this game? Wait, did the castles kill these buildings? Was that the Mangoes? I think that's the Mangoes. I would have been impressed. Kaz, now outpost crawling. This game is getting so weird. Interesting part is for all this investment on the forward, he didn't just build production buildings here as well, which kind of surprises me. I guess it's a tough balance because you want to keep inflating your golden age at home, right? So if you build all your production buildings on the forward, you may be lagging behind that timing for the gauge 3. Trading out though. They're about even. Crossbows can make the difference here though. They most definitely do. So Trebs need to think twice about this. It's 3 Springolds versus 1. Mangoes with the most ambitiously placed shot that just pointlessly hits nothing. Varangian are going to start diving in deep under the Mangoes. Please get off of attack round. Oh no. Mango will stay alive courtesy of the villagers. Berserk is going to get activated here. That means all the Varangian are flop dead very fast. And Kazva still has the better bio army now. On top of that, he has the siege. This is such a scrappy game. Crossbow count still big. Spring is going to go down though. Kazva, a heavy miss macro. I mean, at this stage, just build a lot of siege, right? You've got the wood, you've got the gold, you're in position for it. And go. This is such a messy game. Bio army? It's literally the best term to describe something non-siege. It is actually, like, it's flat out correct. Age of Empires is just going to have to swallow this pill. Bio is actually the best term. What other thing are you going to call it? Non-siege? Wow, that's not more efficient. Humans? What about the horses? Do horses not matter to you? Sentient. Still longer the bio. Wait, are you saying that the mangonels are not sentient? I always thought mangoes had feelings, man. I mean, they could feel, they just don't care to feel. When they crush all those poor little lombos, they enjoy it. If purple somehow wins this... Like, I'm actually getting this creeping feeling. You know the one I'm talking about, right, guys? The one where your brain's like, this doesn't make sense. ... But... Combo count is a bit weak. That's the only area of real criticism here. And Teardrop Shields is now on the way. So this is going to be a big DPS increase if the Rangin can touch anything. Spiral situation is also now dire. Kasva looking for a switch into Knights here. Very expensive, and I don't think he has the farm count for that yet. What are we at? Okay, apparently we're at 34. So he did creep that up when we weren't looking, so that's at least good. The problem is, like, Varangian with Teardrop Shields, they're actually not terrible at competing with Knights. Purple, now an opportunity to stabilize. I wonder, do you consider just going for a TC? Probably just want to shrink the opponent's economy. I want to remind people that we're now 32 minutes into this game, and finally someone wants the relics. I like to imagine that actually Purple wanted the relics all this time. They just couldn't because of what Kasva was doing. Kasva posturing. That is a lot of crossbows. Rangin. Being baited in here. Kasva actually playing that right. You don't want to just fully commit the Lancers, you want to bait Rangin. Okay, Purple has a problem here. He's being griefed. He's wasting so much time on these Lancers, and that's not even the real win condition. Life comes in. Lancers, look at the siege. Mango's all that matters to him, right? It's the only thing that can clear this many crossbows. And won't be able to. Villagers also now on the front line. Dude, this is falling apart. Oh my god, dude. You know what this is? Purple, the metaphorical equivalent is like when you sit for so long, you forget what standing feels like. And when you get up, your legs just go wobbly. Purple didn't know what to do with himself the moment he could get out of his base. He got up out of the chair, he tried to take a foot forward, and immediately fell in his face. This is over. I think this should be the one that kills him. Rams coming from Kasva. Purple, what a blunder at a critical point there. Almost back in this game fully, but now Kasva undeniably ahead. I love the fact that he builds the Rams in front of the outpost. You're like, just in case you weren't aware, you're done, get out of my game.